It's just something random I forgot to bring up before in our conversation. I also forgot to silence my phone.
There are only two Home Alone movies.
Did Nathaniel freeze for you too?
No, I think he's just very happy right now.
To me, he looks like he's yawning. He's happy to
You're
be
gonna see
here.
his war.
I feel like that's just him for the rest of the show.
That'd be nice.
Nathaniel, what are your thoughts on this?
Season. The Griswolds are going to play it safe.
Clark, we're stuck under a truck.
Oops.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, 1989. The Griswold family's plan for a big Christmas predictably turns into a big disaster.
Yeah, I didn't really like this movie. I usually like slapstick humor and this brand of humor, and nothing in this movie really made me laugh or anything. Like, most of the jokes just felt far too unrealistic and untethered from reality to land for me. As a whole, I just found the whole brand of it kind of just awkward and cringy. And this is my first viewing of any film in this franchise, and I know that it's like a beloved franchise, and I can see where it would be something people would like, and I could even see getting used to it, but just on a first viewing, I was not super impressed. It really got pretty unplugged from it.
I enjoyed it. It has a great cast, Chevy Chase, Barry D'Angelo. I enjoyed it. I actually kind of enjoyed it for the very same reasons that Nathaniel didn't like it. I think that the sort of detached, exaggerated, comical bits in this film served as a really interesting sort of like cartoon come to life. Like, it felt like a comic book that got turned into reality. It took a bunch of scenes that people would normally expect to happen in your day-to-day life and took all of them and put them in the worst, most exaggerated, ridiculous, vivid scenarios possible. And it was actually kind of fun watching through each scene and seeing how horribly wrong it could go. And I think that is kind of where the value or detriment of the film is placed, is in the sense that this is a series of multiple events strung together, a montage of sorts, and if you do not personally relate or find it entertaining, then I can completely understand not liking the film. But for me, at least, I found that very entertaining. There are certainly elements that don't hold up quite as well, particularly one scene Jordan and I discussed that just feels uncomfortable more than funny. And it feels kind of contradictory to Clark Griswold as a character. But overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the first time. And I can definitely appreciate why people appreciate this film. Probably about middle of the road as far as appreciation goes, between people that hate it and people that love it and it's their favorite Christmas movie. But I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is my favorite Christmas movie, but it's definitely one that when I first saw it, I didn't really like it very much. I think the following year I ended up rewatching it, and I ended up seeing like little things that I actually ended up liking about it. Overall, the movie feels like it is based on this one character, Clark Griswold's.
There we go. Good boy.
I'm gonna get a snack after this.
Good boy.
You guys didn't see it, but I cut out a lot of me messing up. This father of this family who's hell-bent on having a good Christmas.
What's
to
his
the
name?
point where Clark Griswold.
Ah.
I can't say it any faster. But it's about this father who's hell-bent on having a good Christmas with his family. And like Michael said, we talked about it beforehand, it's this scene where he's basically lusting after this woman and then later on daydreams about her. It feels really out of place and inconsequential and adds nothing else to the movie. And almost takes away from the character of Clark himself. But overall, I have come to really appreciate this movie and see why it's become a classic.
I feel like between this sort of like erotic lusting fantasy about the store clerk and his niece having a sweet sentimental moment with her, I think it almost exposes the biggest flaw of the film, is that I feel as though it handles sentimental, genuine, sincere moments of emotion and human connection as secondary, if not tertiary, aspects of the film behind chasing the bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like the bit takes precedent over everything else, and having those funny scenes takes precedent over everything else. And I can kind of understand that because those are the scenes that make this stand apart from other Christmas films. However, particularly with John Hughes as a primary writer, I would have expected more genuine sincerity and like a sort of glue of actual genuine emotion to hold it together. And I feel like by and large that doesn't exist. And it didn't impede enough to really keep me from enjoying the film. But I do believe that's a genuine critique, and I can understand how that would impede someone's ability to enjoy the film.
I think a disconnect I have with the movie too is Clark Griswold's character is because of some of those scenes like that, and even like the opening scene where he's like driving on the road and all that. Like he's a hard character to like a lot of times, which makes it tricky to root for him in a film about him having things go wrong constantly. Yeah. Like in a movie where the protagonist is constantly being berated with all these ridiculous situations, you want the audience to be rooting for the character to succeed, and a lot of times you aren't rooting for him to succeed.
Yeah, overall, this is a movie that I've come to like over the years. I've come to appreciate a lot of it. I think I've been in the same headspace that Nathaniel has been about this movie. There's a lot to dislike about it, especially your first time coming in. And I feel like it's one of those movies that definitely deserves a rewatch if you've seen it before. Your first time seeing it, there's a big chance that you might not like it. But I've definitely come to appreciate it over the years, and I think that I could recommend it to most people. It's literally like those few scenes that just feel like just out of nowhere that kind of bog it down for me a little bit. Overall, I do enjoy it though.
I don't want to go as far as not recommending it or saying that you shouldn't watch it or anything like that, because I do recognize I am coming at this like movie in the middle of a series with no context and jumping in, and I want to give it that benefit of the doubt. And based on just this first viewing, it's not really my favorite Christmas film or film in general, but I can see where people like this franchise and where I might give it another chance in the future.
I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it more my second time viewing it, and I don't think there's much to lose by watching this film at least once and probably twice. I can completely understand why it would not connect with everyone. I can understand the issues people would have with it, and I almost resonated with those issues, but it didn't impact me quite enough to diminish the enjoyment I had from it. I think it has a lot of fun bits that it does in creative ways, that it takes the artistically disastrous proportions with great performances all around. There's definitely a chance people might not like it their first time watching it, but I do think it's worth taking that chance.
That thing had 9 lives. She just spent them all.
You
Woo! Crack up.
So that is our review of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Next up, we got a horror film. We're going back to horror again. It's Merry Madagascar. One of our favorite franchises from the last time we did a marathon. And we're all really looking forward to reviewing it with you. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
You have a good night now.